Hey there everybody, this is Caitlin here, and today we have another video related to Force of Will, but this time we're going to have a look at a deck profile of a deck that I made with some help from some more professional, well I wouldn't say it's professional, more players who are used to the game by now, who know the mechanics better than me, helped me to create this deck, which I like to call Arla's Angels, or otherwise I'd call it like a pure light deck with, pure flying light deck, whichever you want to like. But I like to call it Arla's Angels because we're looking at Arla. We're going to be making it all light based in terms of the element, whatever. So since it's an all light deck, we're going to be using, 10 light magic stones from the magic stones from the seven kings of the land. I can't say it right, it's quite a long title. Basically from the first set of the Alice cluster, we're using these stones because I think these are the prettiest art for them so far, and I have 10 of them, so we're going to be using that for our stones. But taking a look at the actual deck, we're obviously going to be using Arla as our ruler, and also just to, as a note, got some nice Len and Rin sleeves to go with this because I thought they're blonde and this is like a light deck, so it kind of fits. So Arla is kind of special in that, despite the name, and if the camera would just focus on the card, despite the name, Arla is actually a guy. I know Arla sounds like a bit of a girly name, but, Arla's a guy. So it's Arla is a light ruler, and as you can see, the J activate here is pay 2 light. And for an ability, you can pay 2, and the target resonator with flying you control gains plus 200 till the end of the turn. So that's kind of nice to see a little bit of a boost to the flying cards, because a lot of our resonators in this deck will be flying, or they will be able to get boosted to become flying for a turn or whatever. But when they J activate, I'll just flip the card over in the sleeve so you can have a look at the J ruler side, which is pretty shiny and pretty awesome looking. It obviously has flying, and when this card enters your field, if I can just read it a little bit better. When this card enters your field, you can search your main deck for an angel resonator, reveal it, and put it in your hand, then shuffle your main deck. So there's not actually a lot of angels in the first set of the Alice cluster. I don't know if that was maybe done on purpose or whatever, but there doesn't seem to be a lot of like angels. You have another type called Wingmen, but they're not the same type. Like, they can fly and stuff, but they're not angels, so they don't really count, which is a bit of a shame because, why would you make wingmen if Arla's thing is angels? But I digress. Its attack is 900 and defense is 700, and they also have the God's Art ability, Rain of Arrows, which you pay, I think it's pay 2 light and 2 extra of non-cost, although I need to double check that. Whenever a resonator you control attacks this turn, this card deals 400 damage to target resonator your opponent controls for each time J resonators you control attacked this turn. And you can only play this once per turn. And also, the other thing with Arla, camera focus. The other thing with Arla is that he has a really good synergy with the bow Regalia, which we'll be getting a look at once we get to the Regalia part in this video. But for now, we'll have a look at the resonators, starting off from the lowest drops, what their purpose is, and, why we're running them. So we have one of the first angels in this set. We have the little angel of Armalla. Is it Armalla? Yeah, it's Armalla. I was just double checking the spelling. It's 1 drop for 1 light stone. 300 attack, 300 defense. It's an angel. It has flying, so cannot be blocked by J resonators without flying. But one of the handy things about this is, even though it's a 1 drop, it's quite low, it looks pretty weak. You can banish this at any point you like and gain 300 life. So, if you feel like, I'm on the ropes a wee bit and this thing is just sitting here, whatever, banish it, 300 life. We've got 4 of these, so that's 4 times 3 is 1200. So potentially, no, that isn't right, is it? No, it is right. I can't do math. So that's potentially 1200 life that we can recover if we banish all 4 of them. But preferably, the main idea of this deck is that we don't want to lose any of our resonators. We want to keep them out on the field together as long as possible until we can just build up an assault force that we can just go all out. So the main idea is to try and keep our resonators safe, and we're going to protect them until we get all of our power out in the field, and then we just barrage the enemy. Also in this deck, we have two Blessed Holy Wolves. I know that this isn't flying or whatever, but we have a card in the deck that does give flying to resonators that don't have flying. It's a 2-cost light. It's really in here mainly because it's from this first set of the Alice cluster. It's light. It kind of helps, you know. When it enters the field, you can destroy a target addition, which, you know, it's not amazing, but, you know, it's kind of helpful. That's why we're only bringing it at 2, because it's not a major part of this deck, but, you know, it's handy. Another card that we're going to be playing is another 2-drop. 4 of this one is the Wingman of Armalla. Again, I was saying how I think it would have been better if this was an angel, because, you know, it would suit the deck a lot more if there was more angels in this set. But for the Wingman, it's again flying. This card cannot be blocked by J resonators without flying, and if you tap it, then the target resonator gains flying until the end of the turn. Running this at 4 because this is only a 2-drop, and, you know, it has flying, so it's more useful in terms of our deck. Next card that we're looking at is 4 of these very pretty Herald of the Winged Lord, which, again, I find a wee bit odd that this is a Wingman, but it's a Herald of the Winged Lord who is meant to be helping angels. So I kind of wish this was an angel as well, but what can you do? 600, 600, and you prevent all damage that would be dealt for this card by fire resonators. So if you're going up against, top of my head, werewolves, Bahamut, I'm trying to think any other fire decks, possibly Blazer, I think. He's dual type, isn't he? He's like dark and fire, I believe. So kind of handy there. Plus, you know, it's a 3-drop, and we're running 4 of them because we want those flying resonators. The next one we have, we're going into 3 drops. We're going into an SR here. It's Bedivere, the Restorer of Souls. He has a really neat ability. It's when he enters the field, as a guy, isn't it? Bedivere's a guy, I'm pretty sure. When he enters the field, he can destroy a target resonator with 1000 or more attack. So this even includes, I believe, from what I know, cards that are getting boosts from, say, addition field spells, from different effects from other cards. As long as it's over 1000, or it's 1000 and more, this affects it, and you can, you know, get rid of it. So if you just want to he's 700, but if you just want to get rid of something that's looking a bit too strong, just, like, slap him down, and that's gone. So you don't have to worry about that. He also has target attack as well. And again, with one of our spells, we can give him flying for a turn, so he can reap the benefits of some of our flying abilities. But now we get back to angels. Angels. A lovely part of this deck. We have the Dignified Seraph, who, of course, is an angel. She doesn't do anything totally special. She has the flying, so cannot be blocked by J resonators without flying. But she has 800, so she's one of the more stronger angels in our deck. She's really what we want to look for when, like, we're using abilities to search out angels. We want to find her because she is a 4-cost, and, you know, we're running 4 of her. She's the 4-cost. She's kind of the stronger one that we can search out for, which is kind of handy. We're running 4 of those. And the next one we have is a very pretty card that I'm very proud of. We have the Celestial Winged Seraph. I actually have 3 hot stamps to this. I'm almost there with my 4 hot stamps. But she has a really neat ability, which actually I'll pick up the foil one so you can properly read her ability. So when this card enters the field, you may search your main deck for an angel resonator with a total cost of 4 or less, which is the Dignified Seraph that we were talking about. You can put it into your field, and then you shuffle your main deck. And whenever this card attacks, you gain 300 life for each angel you control. So basically, we can, like, search out an angel, preferably Dignified Seraph, and on the turn that we decide that we're going to do our full frontal assault, we get more life as well for just attacking. Plus, she is 1000. So she's a 5-cost. She's expensive, but we're running her at 4 because she's an important part of this deck in terms of searching out our angels, getting them onto the field, and regaining some of that life points or whatever, or HP, whatever you want to call it, when we've been taking a lot of attacks, waiting until we've got that arsenal ready to just attack. In terms of Regalia, we have 2 Regalia that we're using. One is both of them are actually staples in most decks that I see running now. Almost all decks have at least some of these. And one of them is Marybell. Marybell is one which I think works to its fullest potential when you're running like a machine deck or whatever, but she has a neat ability where you can, I think it's, you tap one and you tap this and pay 1 and you banish this card and it destroys target Regalia. So if your opponent is like boosting up, I don't know if this is destroy all target Regalia or if it's just 1, I need to verify that, but if they have a Regalia which is kind of annoying you, it's giving them pretty good boost or whatever, or is allowing them to like swerve some kind of thing that they need or whatever. Like I'm trying to think, maybe a horned, the float of the horned beast. No, horn of the sacred beast. I think is a Regalia. Her other ability is if you pay 5, she becomes 1000 machine resonator until the end of the turn, but it still counts as Regalia. But I mean, I think it's also got an effect with the Machine Lord Javeler. So she's really only here, I think, as a failsafe, if we want to, get another resonator out there, or if we want to get rid of a Regalia. But the more important Regalia that we have is our Artemis, the God's Bow, which we have 4 of, and I have 1 hot stamp of. Would like to get more, but we'll see. This is a kind of a counter one. So your J-Wheeler gains target attack, but other than that, when you have Arla, the Winged Lord, as your J-Wheeler, instead of getting 2, which is what this normally gets when you play it, it gets 4 counters, which is amazing when you find out what it does when you start removing counters. So the first one is you remove an arrow counter from this card. This card deals 400 damage to its target attacking or blocking resonator. Good enough. If you remove 2 counters from the card, then you can destroy a target addition or resonator or card in the chance standby area. If you remove 4 arrows, then you can destroy a target resonator with flying, which, is pretty neat if you're going up against, say, I'm trying to think of an example of other flying cards. Maybe a Sacred Beast deck. They have the red Sacred Beast out, which I can't quite remember the name of right now. But, you could get rid of that if you want to spend 4 counters. But mainly it's good for just, like, sniping resonators that are attacking you or blocking you in a turn. We also have this addition, which is... the addition basically for this deck is the Heavenly Guardian of Armalla. This is going to be helping our flying resonators. Let me double check here. Yes, it's gain plus 200 attack and defense. Also, actually, I'll pick up this one so I can see it better because the stamp is covering it. If you pay 2 and rest it, then you can rest a target resonator without flying. And you can stack up these addition spells, as I found out. I didn't know that you could play more than 1. I thought you could only play 1 and that was it. But in terms of our spells, we're going to be having Give Wings, which is simple. Your target resonator gets plus 200 and it gets flying until the end of the turn. Running this at 4 to help out our Bedivere, our Holy Wolf creatures or whatever, to help them out. We also have another spell, which is Invigoration of the Winged Lord. This has 2 uses that we have. A resonator that you control gains flying until the end of the turn, and at the end of the turn you recover all resonators you control. Or you can look at the top 4 cards of your main deck. You may put a light resonator with total cost 4 or more from among them into your field. You put the rest to the bottom of your deck in any order. So this is basically another way we can get another resonator out onto the field if we want a bit of backup. I guess that's why we call it Invigoration. And the last cards that we have is what we're going to be using to get that all-out assault, which is Order of the Sacred Queen. Even though Arla's not a queen, he's a lord, but it still works. You basically rest the target resonator, and resonators you control gain plus 400 until the end of the turn. So this is what we want to play when we're going for that full attack. We've got loads of resonators out, we've possibly flipped Arla to the J-Ruler state at this point, and we're ready to just take lives and destroy people. Plus 400, say if we're getting plus 200 maybe from a couple of Give Wings, we're getting another 200 from the field spell. you know, we're going to pay some absolute damage, you know, wreck some people. So also you may have noticed the main reason that this deck is running these specific cards and not, say, cards from different sets is because it was built with the intention to play in tournaments where only the Alice cluster is allowed, because I know currently at our local store, Geek Retreat, we only have the Alice cluster box right now. So we only have the 7 Kings of Land or whatever. We don't have access to the older sets, or they're not trying to get them in. I know a couple of people, like myself, have bought older sets ourselves to get some of those other cards, but for a couple of tournaments, because other people obviously don't have access to the older cards, they're making a couple of tournaments where it's only Alice cluster cards. Hence why this deck is specifically built to only have Alice cluster cards. I have built other decks that are using cards that we've pulled from other boxes or whatever, but for this deck in particular, I'm not probably going to edit it until maybe the new Alice set comes out, which is the Twisted Wanderer, depending on whether there's any light cards or whatever that we can incorporate in here. But that's the kind of deck profile for Arla's Angels. Let me know what you think in the description of the setup, whether you would change anything, whether you'd like to see some setups from some different rulers or whatever. I know I want to do one on like Little Red or Bahamut, or maybe even Priscia, now that I have a Priscia again. But let me know in the comment what you think, and we'll see you guys in the next video, whatever it may be. Bye bye.